Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense. That's right, America. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is the lost art of common sense. Brought to you by our merch shop, where you got to see a lot of our super cool designs. If you watch live, I unfortunately cut that part out for the recorded version, but whatever. But that is what hopefully someday will sponsor this show. So
maybe.
Yeah. In today's episode, because of the DNC week and everything like that, we figured we'd talk about the highly voted for, totally did not get placed in the position, DNC candidate for president Kamala Harris, because, she's for what's popular. Kevin, Kamala, who is she and what does she stand for?
One, it's Kamala. That is racist to say it wrong. So, way to go, racist. Who is she and what does she stand for? She is a person who never got a primary vote in the last 8 years, 4 years, 5, I don't know. She's never got a primary vote. She's ran for president twice now. And she's never got a primary vote. And what does she stand for? Communism.
Yeah, considering she was voted the most liberal senator in the Senate and everything she's ever stood for up until 30 days ago.
It's
she's very hard left,
money,
very progressive.
Not take money.
Yeah, and she's made those. I don't know what show she was on, when she was talking about being woke and like, don't just be more woke, and they're like, yeah, you should just keep saying woke over and over again.
Yeah, people love that word. She was raised by socialists. She is a socialist. She's done nothing but socialist shit. Which socialism is basically like communism junior. It basically grows up to be communism.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
It always progresses because socialism fails, and then the only way to keep the government going is to just go into full lockdown communism.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to eventually the government just controls everything.
That's what history tells us anyway.
Well, that tells us what every socialist country ever turned into was a communist country. But I mean, maybe this time it'll work, even though it never has and never will.
I mean, they never explained what the difference is. They're like, well, it wasn't done right the first time. It's like, okay, the guy who, because Marxism, socialism is basically the same thing. The guy who came up with it lived off other people and was a loser and an idiot and was a failure. But he failed spectacularly to where his stupid words still echo to today.
Yeah, Marxists are...
It never works because at some point people are going to get tired of working and taking care of other people who aren't willing to do. That's literally why it fails every time.
I'll just sum it up. Marxists are lazy pieces of shit,
or rich, and
one of the two. Yeah, one of the two.
Those are the only two castes you have in a socialized system: the people at the top, and everybody else
who is poor.
How do you think she got to where she is, being the presidential nominee for the DNC?
Well, I believe she started her political career, kind of sleeping with, was it Willie Brown? Is that his name? Willie Brown. Then he backed her for DA. Then she basically just failed her way up. Somehow she called Biden a rapist and a racist and became his VP. So I don't know how you just fail your way up this far. She basically stabbed Biden in the back as he was president, threw his already dead corpse out the window, and somehow, she's the nominee, and she is nothing but joy. It's a weird. It's like the anti-American way, I guess. I mean, you shouldn't fail your way up this fast.
There was some lady who was on the Brett Baer show today, and he does winners and losers of the week so original because we totally didn't steal that from him. He stole it from us. But she was like, anyone who says that Democrats aren't patriotic because they had flags, and basically what the DNC did was copy the Republican or the RNC.
What, American flag?
No, it just had a bunch of flags, patriotism, chanting USA, stuff like that. But like, no, that was all fake because you can't really want to change the country and shit all over the Constitution and be patriotic. I'm sorry, that's not how that works. It's like, no, but we're patriotic for the country we want to turn it. Then you're not patriotic.
You're not patriotic. Well, I'm just saying, like, there is a very, I mean, you can't try to destroy a country and be like, this is for the country. I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to destroy the country to rebuild it, I guess, in their communist ways.
Well, that's the only way to do it. You're not going to be able to institute socialism without, well, you can kind of slicker it in and then you just whittle away at the end to where it gets so bad that the government has to come in and save the day in order for the people in charge to retain their power.
But let me ask you a question then. I know it's your show, but let me ask you a question. Can you do that in this country? Can you do that in a country that has 300 million guns? Can you do that I mean, do you not think there would be a revolt if it went full socialism? Or do you think people are so prompt, like COVID, do you think people are, there's a minority, like a 20% minority that would just maybe revolt and everybody else would just go with it? What do you think?
I think that it would just slowly progress, kind of like it did in Australia, to where they slowly keep chipping away. And by the time people
the old mandatory gun buyback,
by the time people got mad enough to do anything about it, it'd be too late. I mean, the whole reason why we're at where we're at is because it's because of the prosperity of the past, and things have gotten so good that people are like comfortable where they're at, and because of that, they somehow feel guilt and all other kinds of stupid shit. And it just like, that's why they say good times create weak men, because people are like, oh yeah, it's really good. We should be able to afford this. We should be able to afford that. We should be able to do this.
Low T men.
Yeah, we should do that. So that's how it progresses. Like the entire country has moved left. That's why like Democrats back in the 70s.
Even Republicans,
Carter was not good, but
like Republicans have moved left. Republicans are more moderate than they've ever been.
Now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The entire spectrum of the country has moved left. Like Kennedy would 100% be considered a Republican today. 100%.
One of them is.
Well, I know that. I'm talking about JFK.
Oh, JFK would definitely be a fucking Republican now.
So, like, if you're like an actual Republican, like if you're a constitutionalist,
this is how I don't understand
right-wing radical.
I don't understand how any boomer Democrat is for anything. I mean, unless you were the flower child, fucking,
well, that was the first push for hardcore socialism was in the 60s. And a lot of those people didn't go away. They just went underground. And now they're rearing their head back. A lot of the groups that are like setting up these protests and stuff.
That's when the Russians started
from the 60s. Yeah.
It's true. I mean, I get it. Like, that we went way too far with like the Russian, like manhunt. But I mean, it wasn't.
Apparently not far enough, Kevin.
Well, yeah, we went after Hollywood. What we didn't do was go after universities.
Well, that's true.
So,
that's where they got smart. They get into elementary. First it was universities, then it's high school, now it's elementary school, and they're just.
Well, I mean, they're being taught. So, I mean, obviously, teachers are going to be. If you're a teacher of education, you're a communist. You're going to teach communism, and it just progresses from there to total dumbassery.
But yeah, back to the original question: how'd she get to where she is? I think also. I would think that anybody, especially on the Democratic side, there's probably tons of Republicans as well that get into their power. They're compromised somehow, whether it be embarrassing this or they're just willing to do whatever to move up. And she was handpicked to move up through the ranks. Because, like, California is a one-party system. So whoever they pick and whoever's going to do what they're told, that's who gets to rise up. And, how everybody totally stepped over the fact that Kamala Harris literally accused. Well, she didn't accuse Biden of rape per se, but he was accused of rape, and she's like, "Yeah, I believe her." So she believed that he was a sex offender and a racist. But then she's like, "Oh, I love Joe. I'll be your VP." And the
What?
reason why they pick Kamala is because they always pick, like, there's a reason why Obama picked Biden. And it wasn't because he was this tried and true, steady guy. It's because, well, if you get rid of me, you're stuck with this guy. And then Biden's
Tim
like, well, if you
Walz.
get rid of me, now granted, they did pick up some votes because people are stupid and they don't vote with their brains. It's like, I'm going to vote just because she's a woman and she's got, more melanin in her skin than me.
I mean,
Like,
that's part of
people
it.
who vote based on that is just stupid. But
I mean, that's basically identity politics is big. Like,
being the fact that she was the least popular VP in the history of the country.
But I guarantee 100% that there is people out there right now that is going to vote for her just because she's a black woman.
Oh, there's tons of people.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. They don't give a shit what their policies are. Every freaking thing that I've watched an interview on, like somebody walks up and like from the DNC is like, "Hey, what part of her policies do you enjoy, or what do you know about her policies?" And everybody's like, "Ah, but she's about joy." You know, that's basically
that is weird too.
They don't know what her policy.
I don't get that. The whole
they're brainwashed.
Joy,
like if
joy.
Somebody's like, "Hey, Donald Trump did not say anything about policy. Don't you think that's weird?" I'd be like, "Yes, that is very weird. I would, maybe not vote for him because I don't know what the fuck he's going to do." I mean,
yeah, that's what I mean. Well, they're just riding the ticket as long as they can. And it's kind of weird because when I first heard about her, it's when she was a senator, and she kind of seemed like a snarky bee in the Senate hearings. How did she go from she sounded somewhat competent as a senator. And then she went to a word salad chef. Well, I mean, she was like most people in the Senate, where as long as they ask their question, they sound kind of smart. And then when
their questions are written out. It's not them that are asking the questions. Their questions are written out by their aides. That's how most senators do it. Is they don't come, like, it's not off to like the top of their head. They know what they're going to ask. So it's a lot easier to, it's just like reading off a teleprompter. You just got to read the question. Just know the question. That's it. This is your gotcha moment. This is your whatever moment. This is, and that's what they do. You can sound competent because you have 30 aides, like, just helping you out or whatever. I don't know what a senator has for people that work under them. I mean, enough. But like the people who work under her always quit. So I don't know. I mean, that's how somebody can sound competent when they're not, is, when somebody else does the work.
Well, yeah. And and then that was one of the, she's a DA. She asks hard questions, blah, blah, blah. But although VPs, really don't do much at all. I mean, I think Pence did some stuff.
I don't know.
He was mostly a tiebreaker.
That's basically what. Yeah, go ahead.
But did she do anything of consequence as a VP?
Yeah, she did. Actually, she pretty much put us into an inflationary cycle.
How'd she do that, Kevin?
Well, she was the tie-breaking vote into the
for the Green New Deal. Oh yeah,
Inflation Reduction Act is what she gave us. The tie-breaking deal. She did it like 30 some times. To all bad policy. Maybe they weren't all bad, but they always came with caveats, which every bill does. Usually, like, even so, when you even the border bill, whatever, that didn't make it past the House, and they're like always like, oh, they wouldn't pass border bill. It's because it came with so many caveats, and basically they're like, hey, why doesn't Biden just do it himself? Because he's the president and he has executive order over the border. But what I'm saying is,
you know what? Why don't you go ahead and check the comments real quick before somebody comes over your house and kicks your door down? I don't mean to be rude and, interrupt your good speech there, but we have a hostile listener who's threatening Kevin's safety.
Dude, what kind of people are you trying to get? Like 15 minutes. That's too much. That's too much.
I mean, if you're
you should
breaking
ask for 5-minute prices. But what I'm saying is, no, she hasn't done anything. Everything she's done is she failed.
Yeah.
Borders are, or whatever border thing now she's being called or whatever. She was bad at. She's bad at stuff. Talking, being a person, just everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
But I don't know, man. I don't know what the rate is. Sorry, I'm trying to answer questions. Thank you, Dan. You're right. She did not fail at sucking D all the way up to VP. That is, if that mouth works, you can go wherever you want, I guess.
I mean, there are, and that's like, yeah, there's a bunch of Trump memes, but there are a lot of memes.
Well, I mean, you
surrounding that and Kamala Harris. So I'm just saying.
That's true.
Do you think she was fairly selected as the Dems candidate? I realize I'm asking a lot of rhetorical questions.
Yeah, no. This is the dumbest question. No, she was just put in place. She basically, her and Pelosi and Schumer and just everybody pretty much just stabbed Biden in the back after he turned out, after they covered for him to be a senile old man. And all of a sudden they're like, well, he proved he was senile, so now we'll just put this lady in who hasn't gotten one vote again in a primary. Not one vote. It says 2020, 2024, 0 votes, and somehow she's a candidate to be president. This is the party of democracy.
Well, the weird thing is like literally everybody couldn't stand her. They were trying to replace her because she made the ticket weaker by being on it as the VP. Yet, and this is where
this is where the media plays though.
Well, if the Republicans try to sell Republican voters a ship pie, they just throw it back in their face. But the Democrats, they're like, hey, this loser that you hate? She's now our princess and you're all going to like her. Okay, yeah, she's the bestest and she's full of joy. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, she's... I don't know what citrus means, Dan. Oh, I do. Never mind. Sorry.
Scurvy?
I don't know. No, it's something for...
inappropriate, I bet.
It is definitely inappropriate.
Oh.
No, she was just picked. I mean, that's what communism is. I mean, you just pick the candidate or I don't get it. What the fuck is wrong with you people if you think she's your candidate? She's not your candidate. She was selected by a group of elites to be your candidate.
But they were told to like her.
But so yeah, and you were told to like her and you just do.
You see the people crying. I know you probably didn't watch a lot of the DNC,
at least I like Trump. I mean, I like what he did.
I'm not gonna lie, he annoys the shit out of me a lot of the time, but I do like his policies.
All right, well,
yeah, you can do that.
I just didn't want to know if you wanted your name out there, buddy. So Dan can go fuck himself. So I hope you're happy. That's my answer to you, buddy. But I mean, who are you? What kind of sheep are you? What kind of person do you think? If you're told to like somebody without there being no policy, you don't know what she's about other than from 2020 to where you're like, she got less than 1% of the vote between 20 people. She got less than 1% to where she had to drop out. But now you like her because you're told to like her?
I don't know if she dropped out because Do they have to at that point?
No, she didn't have to. She did.
Yeah.
So I guess
That's a service.
check out that
Not a
level.
new sponsor.
Not a new sponsor. But I mean, what kind of person do you have to be? I mean, I just don't understand to where now you're supposed to like her.
Well, what I don't get is I was watching that David Letterman interview with Trump back in 1987. You can say whatever you want, but everybody started hating him when he changes the letter behind his name because that dude has not changed at all, ever.
No.
Ever. He even has the same mannerisms, the same talking patterns. He has the same everything. So it's like, and then you take Kamala, or Kamala, whatever the hell her name is. She pronounces it differently too.
Every
so
time.
no, it is
Well,
not
it doesn't
racist,
matter.
Kevin.
It depends what kind of color your skin tone is, and that depends on how you pronounce your names.
I pronounce it always, so whatever.
But I mean,
someone who changes like that so rapidly versus someone who hasn't changed, it's like, come on, no, she's for the border and not tanking the economy by doing price fixing, but everything else that I'm going to give tax cuts to the middle class and then tax the shit out of the rich people, and that will have zero impact on your life.
Exactly. How is taxing rich? I mean, all right, here's what my thing is. People don't like Trump because Trump was already rich before he got into government to where people can't buy him off. So he's just kind of anti-establishment kind
He's
of
got
person.
I don't give a shit money.
Yes. So I mean, he's going to be well off. I mean, dude's 78 right now. So I mean, it's not like he needs to be bought off. So I mean, that's exactly what it is. To where they thought, oh shit, this dude was a Democrat until 2008, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then
I mean, but he was like an actual Democrat, And the only reason I think he was a Democrat is because he was from New York. I don't know if he was really that political, other than he thought everybody. I mean, nothing's changed. He literally thought everybody in a place of power was an idiot and he could do it better.
I know your wife. It's nothing like that. But I mean, I don't know if I like this live chat. But I mean,
one of our listeners is very mean and we love it.
It's because he became a Republican and that's it. And they couldn't buy him off. I mean, that was basically it. That was it. And they shouldn't be. I mean, if you're believing any of this shit, the dude was already president. He didn't do any Hitler things, or he didn't do anything that was, even we didn't have a war in 4 years in the world that mattered. So yeah, I'm sorry to say, if you had a war in Ghana or whatever, I don't know. Maybe there's a civil war there. I mean, that's on them.
It's a war against gonorrhea.
Yes. I mean, who doesn't want that war?
Exactly. They just knocked that out.
But I'm just saying, like, the dude was a good president. Did he say mean things? Yeah. But I mean, he was a good president.
Oh, while you're at it, listening, don't be afraid to share this broadcast on whatever platform you're watching on it. That'd be really super cool. If you
and super like it, man.
Yeah, super like and share. Well, let's go on since we're talking about Trump. What is the difference between Trump's personal attacks and the Dem calling him Hitler, or even Kamala accusing Biden of being a racist rapist back in 2020?
One's a Republican, one's a Democrat.
But that's what I'm saying. There's like a double standard.
It. No, that's absolutely it. That's the difference.
Is calling her ignorant a personal attack, or is that just pointing out a fact?
No, she's fucking stupid.
Yep.
On Facebook. And your deployment does count. 3 years ago was during the Biden presidency. Dummy.
Yeah. And by the way, it's because you didn't share the broadcast, Mister.
Yeah.
I'm the only one watching.
Yeah, maybe if you would share a little bit. But I
mean, I think because of how sensitive the left is, I think you could
Democrat.
probably do less of it. I mean, I don't know. The weird thing about Trump is even when he was president, he's always done stuff that pissed me off. And is like, what the hell are you doing? Like with the Kemp stuff. It's like, seriously? You're starting a war with another Republican? Really? And now Kemp tightened up the election stuff in Georgia and their friends. It's like, it's weird how he does stuff that pisses people off and it seems to somehow work itself out. But yeah. I don't know. I just know that calling someone Hitler and then getting him shot at.
It's lost all meaning.
Yeah.
Like, if you're getting called Hitler and fascist enough or whatever, I mean, even racism as racist has been lost all meaning. I mean, because it means nothing.
Especially when you start saying that there are other races that can't be racist. Nope, you can. It's only racist if they're white. Everything else is just pointing out stuff.
Well, I mean, we have a white slur of the week, so we're trying to promote the white racism.
Yeah, just nobody cares.
Yeah, no one does care. Haven't been canceled yet.
How do you think she's going to do in the debate? Like, are the top Dems nervous about it, you think, or?
No, I think, well, the fact that they're doing it on ABC with one of her friends.
Did that matter for Biden?
Well, Biden was, they didn't give him his juice soon enough. She can be competent enough to where if she knows the questions, she can memorize. I mean, I'm assuming she can memorize. I mean, the answers. I mean, the only way that she's not going to do well is if she has to counter a Trump question herself. Like if Trump accuses her of something and she has to answer for it, then that would be when. But just questions from the media or from the commentators, she'll do fine, I think, because she'll know the questions. Let's not fool ourselves in wondering how this is stacked.
Well, yeah, she's going to know the questions, but like she's going to have someone there, albeit Trump will be there. But to call her out and explain, like, if she explains a question or she gets a question and then gives an answer and then Trump explains how that's dumb, other than just flat out ignoring it, that's the only way she'll make it through the debate.
Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to cut him
respond to Trump.
They're going to cut him off. They're going to do what they can.
No, I'm talking about her. She can't respond to the because like.
No, I get it, but you what you're saying is her is not her, and this is what you've been saying the whole time is it's the DNC, it's the Democrat machine, including the media. They're going to tip it her way to where they'll either cut him off or make her not have to answer that question to where they'll just skip to the next question. This is what's going to happen. Like,
yeah, but that, I mean, you can only do that. I mean, you think
you can only do that so much.
No, but they can do it. And I'm sure they'll do tons of it. And then it's going to look horrible.
Well, probably, but they're
as
going to
try. As she gets out in front of a crowd next to someone and
try.
has to answer shit, and they are blatantly carrying the water for her, that's not a good look for her either. And it's going to make her look weak.
But that's what's going to happen. I guarantee it.
I mean, I'm sure it will. Let's see. Would or will she have a chance if she does actually get vetted? Whether through the debate, which you think that's going to be a total.
That'll be the first time she does an interview, I think.
Or an interview.
Dude, she hasn't done an interview in 35 days. An interview, answer questions, no press conference. Well, I don't know.
Even the left started to turn on her a bit.
I mean, I just don't get it. I just don't understand people. It pisses me off. Yeah. Like why is it even close?
It should.
Why is it not 70-30?
Well, it's because people are dumb. Like it's literally because they've been brainwashed.
Either don't vote, but don't vote for this dumb, non-answering question person. Don't vote. Like, don't waste a vote. Don't possibly put your trust in a person that can't answer a question from the press to making the hard decisions of maybe World War III.
Well, people don't like, especially in America, it seems like people only look 4 years forward. And that's as far as it, like, they're like, oh, I'm going to vote based on my feelings and, not think about how my vote is going to affect my kids or my grandkids, or even if you don't have kids, as you're elderly. Because you know what they do to elderly people in socialist and communist countries?
I'm assuming put them down.
Yeah. It's like, well, you're no longer useful, so we're going to go ahead and put you down. So, yeah.
Euthanasia. Welcome to Canada.
Yeah, I think if well, that's what happened to her in 2020. She was all popular, right up there with Bernie, and then she opened her mouth, like off teleprompter. As soon as she got off teleprompter, she cratered.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Because it's so bad. It's like people literally forgot all the interviews she did as VP. Friendly interviews, and how she came off looking like an idiot. That's not personal attacks. That's pointing out an observation. She is super ignorant. She looks like,
She's going to watch this.
Even in her DNC speech, she seemed meek. She didn't seem very commanding. Like, she's like, yeah. And then, she tried to sound tough and like, yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And they act like Trump is the president right now. That's how she's
like
acting. That's how she's running.
They're acting like he's the incumbent. And he's not, obviously. She's been there for 7/8, whatever amount of years. And she's done nothing. Her administration, her and Biden. And let's be real, Biden was a fucking weekend at Bernie's president since the beginning.
Yeah.
It's been her and the DNC
I don't think it's
running the show.
There's no way in hell it's been her. She really does not have any original thoughts. Like, that's what annoys me, because she's like, I'm about joy and blah, blah, blah. Let's put it this way. If you have a 90+% turnover rate in all your staff, that's probably because you're a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you she goes out.
Well, I would say that about a man or a woman.
Well,
you're a bitch.
But like, she goes out, she makes herself look like a dumbass, and then I guarantee you she goes back and chews some aide's ass, and they're like, you know what? I don't got to put up with this. I'm taking my purple ass somewhere else.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. That pretty wraps up the Kamala talk. She's basically horrible. We'll see how things play out now that she's the official nominee of the DNC. And I don't know. See what happens.
Comment below about what you think of her.
So that'll roll us right on in to winners and losers of the week, Kevin.
Winners and losers.
In my book, you're a winner too.
I think you're a loser.
All right, who's your loser? Huh?
What?
Who's your loser?
Oh, I didn't hear you. Dickwad.
Well, that was a personal attack.
Yes, it was. The economy and the jobs report. The economy, obviously, everybody knows, is in the toilet. The jobs report, where they lied about 818,000 jobs. But I mean, it's also convenient right now.
And then the person who's in charge of that didn't realize, like, well, I don't know that, but no.
Well, also the Secretary of Commerce did not know there was a division of labor, so that was super awesome.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, who is that? But the jobs report, which is actually beneficial, it is beneficial to Kamala Harris right now, because if you have less jobs and you can cut Fed rates, because it looks like the economy is, I don't know how rates work, but they can cut it easier if there's less jobs and like the market's equaling out to where they can cut the fucking interest rate.
Well, yeah, that's good for us and good for our credit card payments.
Well, I mean, yes.
But
also,
what would happen if
it's just convenient that this is happening now. It's convenient it's happening now.
Well, but that jobs report being pulled back.
Well, lied to, yes. If people are fucking stupid, and they're just going to be like, oh, well,
it was just
Biden's doing so good. Biden and Harris
Trump did have to do a correction of like 400,000 at some point. But you could do a correction on like a few million, because a lot of them are bounce back jobs. But I don't know. I would
Dude,
be interested to see what
have you ever seen the fucking actual job growth? Most of them go to illegals or their government jobs.
Yeah.
The private sector is all negative.
It's all tapped out. Well, and that's what I would be interested to see what the real unemployment rate is.
No one knows.
Like when you count all, it's easy. You take all the people living off of welfare, food stamps, and all that stuff that aren't working. They know who's working and who's not.
No, I know. The government knows my taxes.
I think it's like 50% of the country, 50% plus is on some type of government assistance.
Didn't you just tell me today that the government knows how much your taxes should be?
Well, no, they know how much your company told them.
But they know what it is. But they know what it is. They know.
Yeah, like whatever your W-2 is, your company sent all that information.
Yeah, but they know what it should be
based on what your company sends them. Yes.
But you told me
no, it's whatever your company sends.
So why was there a?
Because
confusion?
I don't know. There's
because they know.
Error. Well, yeah, because it's a reporting thing. So if your company reports all your information,
yes,
and then they give you a W-2 and somebody messed up on the W-2 and it doesn't match, then they know that those aren't the same. That's it. They know how much you made because your company told them how much you made.
Oh, I thought you meant they knew what they.
No, you're just too conspiratorial.
I am. I don't believe in the IRS. I think
my personal attack. You're dumb.
Well, I think the IRS knows what everybody makes, and they know what they could pay you or don't pay you, and they just put it up to you. And then they'll just audit you because they're dicks.
Well, probably. Let's see. My loser of the week is that I chose this guy early. There's a slew of other people I could have picked, but I'm lazy and I already typed it in. So I will Colin Kaepernick.
He's been a loser for 4 years, 5 years.
Well, it's just he's reaching new depths of loserdom. Like he's literally almost begging for a job to get back in the NFL. And now, for whatever reason, he started like a talent agency or he was like, well, I'm not very good at stuff myself.
He's still trying to be a quarterback in the NFL, by the way.
Well, yeah. And he's like begging people to give him a shot. And
no one's going to.
How would that feel to ruin your career when everything you're bitching about did not apply to you?
He didn't ruin his career. Dude probably made more money. He had
not if you want to continue playing football.
Well, I mean, I guess you want to play football, but I don't think he ever really wanted to play football.
The sponsorship.
He wanted to make money. Dude, Nike sponsored him for like $2 million or something. And they gave him a whole campaign,
it sounds like a lot of money, Kevin, unless you're living like an NFL quarterback.
But then he also got like a Netflix documentary. He got like an HBO documentary. I mean, he got all this thing because he's a victim.
Would he be begging to be in the NFL if he didn't need money?
He's not trying to be in the NFL, though.
Yes, he is. He's still trying to get back to the NFL.
That's what he says. But every time somebody gives him a shot, every time everybody tries to give him a shot, he either doesn't try or he doesn't show up.
Then either way,
this is all fake.
He's a loser.
Bullshit. Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Who's your winner, Kevin?
Me. Oh, sorry. Also me. I'll tell you why it's me later.
Winner.
But it's a Kansas federal judge for saying that you can now own machine guns.
Yeah, I don't know his name against the NFA.
But you can now own machine guns in Kansas or wherever. It's a federal judge, so it's a federal ruling, right?
Federal, yeah.
Yeah, you can own machine guns now.
Well, and you always could own machine guns that were...
No, this is for all machine guns.
Oh.
This is there's no ban on machine guns, period.
Well.
So, I mean, that's pretty awesome. Also me, because football's starting up and, I like politics sometimes, but it's also very frustrating and gets my blood rushing to where, I need a little football in my life. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a fantasy football league this year.
I'm a fantasy football draft on Sunday. So, with Dan, who is an asshole.
He was kind of a jerk today. And he left because he had to see the guy. And we We weren't doing him any favors, apparently. I'm not sure why he watches this show, but it seems like it's for inappropriate reasons.
It's
my winner is Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
For being the ultimate, I would say, at least thus far, troll of the century. When he's got a movie coming out, Am I a Racist? Pretty much points out the losers that go to these seminars to try to feel better about the fact that they were born white. And he had to wear a costume in that movie because he was kicked out of a meeting when they figured out who he was. Well, he wore the same costume to the DNC, had a Kamala Harris hat on, had Dudes for Kamala shirt on, got thrown out twice. And he was handing out all these flyers about Project. Well, and he photobombed
Chuck Schumer.
Chuck Schumer during CNN. That's how he got caught.
Yeah, the CNN broadcast.
So yeah, he got caught doing that, and then he was handing out all these flyers to them, all the people at the DNC, saying, "Oh yeah, Project 2025, it's real bad. Go to this website." And here's pretty soon. You guys should buy that. Probably make them cheap. Got one for Kevin too.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is fantastic. But yeah, it's like, it's just, the dude like takes himself very seriously. Like you can tell he does, but at the same time he doesn't. And the fact that he's so, I don't know, he's like so
sarcastic
about. Yeah, he is horrendously sarcastic.
Like about everything. You can't tell if he's sarcastic or not.
Yeah, I don't.
Matt Walsh is fantastic. And if you haven't seen What Is a Woman, check that out. And I would say check out probably Am I a Racist? I guarantee it's going to be funny. I'll probably watch it. Yeah.
Well, that wraps up Winners and Losers of the Week, Kevin. What it only means it's time for
Trump Truth.
Trump Truth.
What I say is what I say.
So there were a ton to pick from, and a lot of them were super wordy, and I'm lazy, so I picked a short one. Most new jobs under Biden went to illegal immigrants. Actually, he got what is known as COVID bounce back jobs, standard for all countries after the pandemic. He did terribly on jobs and everything else. And that was the Trump Truth.
What I say is what I say.
So we might as well just go ahead and roll right on into happenings of the week, Kevin.
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening? What is happening? We might as well go ahead and start right off with RFK dropping out of the race in
supporting Trump.
Well, yeah, he didn't drop out all states, so he dropped out of.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
What are those states called? Why is my brain not working?
The
flip-floppy states.
We'll call it flip-floppy states.
But dropped out of those and supported Trump. So that was a,
Well, I mean, this is a huge deal because the Kennedys are lifelong Democrats. They have been. They have been since the beginning of the Democrat Party, since they were racist. And like supported through to JFK, RFK. They were Democrats. They, then RFK Jr. Then, wasn't there another Kennedy that was like a cokehead in the Senate?
I don't know. The one who died who murdered somebody?
Yes, maybe. But there was another Kennedy.
His name Edward or something? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
He was a husky fellow.
But then you got
recently died.
this is the first time a Kennedy has ever jumped over to the Republican side. And basically what he said was, this isn't the Democratic Party of my father and my uncle. This is a totally, crazy base. This is, this shit's nuts. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. If he said that, it'd be totally awesome, but he did not.
No, he used a lot of big fancy words.
But I mean, he's basically saying like, hey, so this guy, also lived through the Trump era of presidency. He's like, hey, this guy is way better than Kamala Harris or the DNC or the Democratic Party, which is crazy because, I mean, he's a total environmental nut. And
that's
Trump has said nothing but drill, baby, drill since, 2016. For an environmental nut to jump over to Trump, that is, a huge, a win, I guess. I don't know. Just that shows you how far the Democrats have gone totally far off fucking left.
Yeah, I would say it's a win. I mean, because, well, he's not really picking off far. He might get Reagan-esque Democrats, and one person's like, oh, Reagan Democrats might vote for Kamala after that speech. I'm like, no Reagan Democrat would ever vote for Kamala Harris. If you're a Reagan Democrat, you're smart enough to figure out that what communism and socialism is. But he pulled a lot of libertarians.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of what he had.
Well, it's because the libertarians were, anti-vax,
anti-everything.
Yes.
And pro shooting up heroin at,
Yeah, but I don't think RFK is fucking for heroin.
No, he's not like that. I was just pointing out that purebred libertarians take it a bit far.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of Trump saying that he did tweet out or truth out something about you should get a year in prison for burning the United States flag. If you bought the flag, you can do whatever you want with it. But if you steal somebody else's flag and burn it, I think the penalty should be horrendously bad.
Agreed. 100%.
So that was just a random pop-up Boyd that came up. Let's see. Kamala announced her first policy plan, which I think we've talked about maybe even last week.
It's called communism. Let's just call it communism.
Just straight price fixing.
Let's just call it communism.
Rolls us into DNC week. The biggest thing I took away from it is Planned Parenthood had a baby-killing food truck outside offering free abortions and vasectomies to anyone who wanted them for the first 2 days of DNC. And I know I heard they did up to 24 abortions. So
and also you got a free. Hey!
That means that's what I'm going to talk about.
You got a free hot dog.
At least 24 plus how many people got vasectomies got a free hot dog from the Wiener Circle.
So if you're
what a horrible business.
If you're Republican anywhere in Illinois,
give them my money.
And if you go to Chicago, do not go to the Wiener Circle because I would never go to the Wiener Circle. I just feel like
I'm assuming
kind of like a circle jerk kind of thing. I think,
but that's what I'm saying. A lot of people that are supporting these things would probably love to go, but
probably half of them put it in dudes.
That was just so weird. They're like, oh yeah, have abortion up to the third trimester, all this stuff. But like, hey, let's have a mobile abortion unit hand out free abortions for the first 2 days. I am all about these beta ass Democrat males getting vasectomies. Please do not procreate.
Please. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather somebody not procreate than get an abortion. Well,
you can't do that, Kevin. That would go against hookup culture because screw personal responsibility. I'm being responsible by having a.
I mean, I'd rather have some beta male. I'd rather have him fucking cut his fucking, cut it off. Man. I mean, not cut it off. I mean, maybe, but as long as you're 18, I don't give a shit. But don't procreate.
Yeah, please don't. Let's see. Biden's speech on the DNC was basically just a bunch of lies. He still pushes the Charlottesville thing, and even left-wing magazines and shit have said that he was not talking about neo-Nazis yet.
Dude.
And then they put him on at 11.
Yeah. Poor Biden. I mean, they know what he is. He's a disaster on the mic. On the mic. I mean,
I'm
that's
surprised
what
he
he
was
is.
still awake.
So I mean, that's it. He's a disaster on the mic. So they know what he's going to say. He's going to say he's going to memorize some of it, kind of, I guess.
It was a
it
shit
doesn't
show.
matter what you say. I mean, like he's going to remember the talking points from 2020, and because dementia works that way, and Alzheimer's. So he's going to remember.
He keeps forgetting that it's been debunked.
Yes. So I mean, the guy's still our president, but it's just.
Can we just
why?
coast through? Can we just coast through to the end? That's all I ask.
But I mean, we're on the verge of World War III. I mean,
yeah, that's why
half
Kamala,
the Middle East is about to fucking.
She's the commander in chief.
Half the Middle East is about to go into World War III. I mean, everybody's against fucking Israel.
Someone pointed out that China might go to war with the Philippines and shit. And like, oh, we got a war with China. What the hell do we give a shit? If we're going to be the world police, yeah, I don't know why, but that's what somebody brought up. If we're going to be the world police and try to do all this shit, get rid of NATO, okay?
Yes.
And all the 2% of the GDP and all these countries that want to be protected goes to the United States. That way, if anybody messes with any country, it's kind of like
we'll decide if it's justified or not.
But it's like how the mafia does it. You give us protection money, and if anybody messes with you, we'll blow them up.
The mob knows how to do it.
Just get rid of the UN bureaucracy because we're going to end up having to be the ones that clean it up anyway, and all the money comes
exactly. If the mob can make money, why can't we?
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of like the mob in reverse right now because we're getting extorted like a motherfucker.
Oh, I know.
I'm just saying, that just annoyed the crap out of me. So, yeah, Biden's speech is crap. Kamala's speech was nothing but lies and bullshit. Yep. And I mean, it was dangerous, though.
Is bullshit.
She can give a good speech.
I mean, when she reads it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, if you're just like, oh, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And
she didn't do anything about policy, though. She said nothing about policy. You can just say
other than that's why
anti-racist, anti-fucking Trump stuff and be like, oh, that was a good speech.
But that's why it was so weird how she was acting like she's like running against Trump racism. As an incumbent. Because she's like, I'm going to fix everything on day one. That
exactly. You're on day 1400
years.
You're on day like 1400. Do something now. We know there's not a president.
Yeah,
you're the closest thing to it.
And she's horrible. So this was a random one that you might not have heard of, but apparently after, I'm assuming this is stemmed from the whole Ben Shapiro fallout, but Candace Owens, she's not doing herself any favors.
No.
Like she's basically saying that she made some weird connection that the reason why, like, it was like a pro-Israel, but not pro-Israel. Like they might've been founded by the Franks and I guess they're super racist or whatever.
I don't know.
Like she doesn't watch the show, obviously, because she might be one of the 5 people watching. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't give a shit.
But
if she does, she should like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah. She should definitely do that. But it's like I like her and she's smart.
She is smart sometimes.
But she's gonna bury herself on this.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
It's like when people get really popular and then they get hung up on something stupid and they just screw themselves.
I mean, why? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about Jew hatred. I don't have any problem with any Jews. I don't have any problem with anybody. As long as you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. That's it. That's how I live my life. I don't think there's any big conspiracy, no big cabal Jewish fucking space lasers.
There's space lasers.
Well, there is space lasers, but not from the Jews, I don't think.
We're going to get a dome.
If the Jews had the space laser, you don't think they would have done it against fucking Palestine? Dome. I'm just saying, if Jews had space lasers, would they not do it against Palestine already? I mean, would they not burn it against, like,
I'm just sick and tired of people. She even said in her speech that we're going to keep funding Ukraine to keep that war going, but we need a ceasefire in Israel.
See, the Ukraine thing is fucking crazy because they're moving into Russia, which is bringing us closer and closer to a nuclear war.
What do they think is going to happen if they actually invaded and took over a Russian city?
there's going to be a nuclear war.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it's the
weird
fucking thing. Why is no one doing anything against it?
Well, yeah, it's weird how they're like all about ending the war in Gaza and feeding the war in Ukraine.
Yes.
Like that
but
is
the Ukrainian
weird.
war is like
Well, Trump said he'll end the Russia-Ukrainian war as president-elect.
And he said he would fucking finish the Israel fucking Palestine war by getting rid of Hamas. So good. Well,
yeah, because he was like, "Yeah, well, those
you
better release those hostages before I get reelected.
Before I get step into office."
But here's the thing: it was like that Palestinian protester who was like, "All Palestinians support Hamas."
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that's
those aren't innocent people dying.
I'm sorry, but that's what Palestine is.
If you support a terrorist group that attacked Israel, then are they innocent people dying?
Whatever. I mean, boycott outside my house. I don't give a shit.
No, but what I'm just saying is, and then the guy denied anything happened. Like the interview got cut short because he was interviewing this guy. He's like, when he told him, was like, "What about October 7th?" Like, "What about October 7th?" And he's like, "I don't know, murdering women, children." And the dude got all pissed off, like, "That never happened."
Yes. Because
these protesters aren't doing the cause any favors either.
No.
Because if you were going to go out and say all Palestinians support Hamas.
Well, then they're assholes. Do it peacefully if you want to do it. Well, don't be an asshole about it. See, that's the thing. Protest what you believe in. I have no problem with that. Don't be an asshole about it. Don't be violent. Don't fucking ruin shit. Like you're ruining what you're trying to protest. No one's going to believe you if you protest about something and you're an asshole about it. Like, yeah. That's it.
True that. I hear that. That's pretty much. There's apparently
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts is okay. So, and I'm not a huge fan.
Is this the DEI shit?
No, they refuse to advertise on Rumble because they basically stand
DEI.
for free speech.
They thought that fucking Steven Crowder.
And
I saw that shit.
It's like cool and everything, but it's like, man, it seems like we're getting on a left wing thing where it's like. First it was Harley, and now it's Jack Daniels, and Jack Daniels is some weird.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I just don't get it.
Like shit, but
like you're going against your base.
At what point? I mean, the right wing protests have brought down #1 brands and major companies.
Bud Light.
At what point?
John Deere.
Tractor Supply made it quick. Apparently, Harley Davidson. They flipped,
but
it might be too late.
Yeah, I mean their sales went down big time.
People were like getting rid of their bikes and So I mean, and
you're
cool.
going against your base. What do you think you're doing? You're an idiot.
Well, I guess people need to keep protesting and boycotting these businesses till they figure it out.
If you're fucking Maxi
take
Pad
on
tampons,
DEI, you get DIE.
I'm just saying, if you're Maxi Pad tampons, do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You get them trans boys or whatever, whatever. But if you're Harley fucking Davidson, what the fuck are you doing?
Well,
you're an idiot.
If you notice, all these large scale corporations have been like their presidents are all foreign people from Europe and shit. It's weird. It's kind of weird, but yeah.
Well, let's go on.
So that means we're done with the happenings of the week. So we'll just roll into the white slur of the week, Calvin.
White slur of the week.
Woo-hoo. What's a honky?
And my white slur of the week is recyclables. A polite way of saying white trash. And that was the white slur of the week.
What's a honky?
So, I don't know. You got anything else, Kevin?
I do not.
Well, I think that pretty well wraps it up. So, until next time, I'm Josh.
And I'm Kevin.
And this has been an awesome, tubular, bodacious episode of The Lost Art of Common Sense. We'll see you next week, everybody. Common Sense!
Keep that vinyl rolling.
And don't be boring, be a pirate. We'll see you next week, everybody.